Hello folks, how are you? It is the weekend, we are chilling out, and yeah, we're going to do some Q&A today, and I love these videos, as I said before. Like, I get to sit here and generally chill out and do whatever I want to do, and do the questions in the manner and the time frame that I want to do them, and it's nice to just sit here and have a gab every now and again about the world and everything going on in it. So, I have asked my lovely people over at Patreon to send me in some questions for the Q&A. If you want to send me questions for a Q&A, then Patreon is the place to go. Please help me eat. I like eating. Eating is good. Also, been spending all day doing some Astral Blade models, getting the army finished now. I'm very close to finishing it. Very close. I am 6 cavalry units, well, 6 cavalry models, conversion models, and then a full paint job away from finishing the army. So, you know, when I say full paint job, I mean, like, I would say about 15% of the army is grey plastic. The rest of it has had its first and second coat of everything, and I'd say about 40% of it, 50% of it is done completely. So, you know, bit of work to do still, but yeah, getting there. We're nearly there. I want to get them done for 10th edition, because I really want to get people together in Liverpool or another town, anywhere, to do some gaming over the summer, to do a tournament or a league or a campaign in 10th edition in Combat Patrol. So nice. You know, so if you're travelling around the UK, you won't need to bring many models. They will all be there all ready for you to, you know, you'll be bringing one or two squads, and that's it, you know. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about some of our Q&A questions. So, Harry says, go on then, a question. Who was the worst model but really awesome lore to pick up the slack? Who has the worst model but really awesome lore to pick up the slack? Okay. Doom Rider, probably. I'd probably say him. You know, the guy is just the most ridiculous lore ever, of a guy on a motorbike who comes in and out of reality. He's that rock and roll. He just comes in and out of reality, that kind of a thing. But the model itself is just not great. I mean, if I have a look at it now, 40k Doom Rider. Yeah, I mean, it just looks silly. The amount of conversions that I've seen for it that are really cool. He's essentially the 40k, you know, the 40k version of Ghost Rider, you know, an amazing thing. But I don't know, man. It just. I mean, the quote of him is, "As I ride to war, the scent of death washes over me like the wind itself. All my senses come to life, and each kill becomes more exhilarating than the last." I mean, you know, that guy should have an amazing model, but he looks really derpy. So yeah, Doom Rider would be mine. Okie dokie. Okay. Another question from Hunter. He says, when I first started into 40k, I had a really interesting feeling when I read my first Warhammer book, Horus Rising. Oh, we've been there, man, with Horus Rising. The feeling of violation from the first demon possession in the Whisperheads to the domination of the Imperial Titans really drew me in. Yeah, man. As wasn't it Samus in the Whisperheads? He just keeps saying, Samus is here. Look out! It's just like the cutest thing ever for a demon to say. Anyway, as I read more and more stories, the feeling felt more diluted each and every time I read. I felt like reading more to find the next hit. The only thing that brought me the feeling back was when I read a Wrath and Glory 40k campaign where it described how the bodies of dead hive people were preyed on to be no longer considered human, and were then butchered to make building material, food, and servo skulls. That feeling is very hard for me to find with the new Games Workshop stories. My question is, do you have a similar experience, or maybe something interesting to say about that kind of feeling others than I chase in 40k? Well, I think the feeling that you're chasing there is mainly a feeling of you know, holy shit, that is metal as fuck. You know, that kind of a feeling. One thing I will like to say is I completely get what you're saying. I had a very similar outlook on the original Sons of Horus novels. You know, the original, the start of the Horus Heresy novels. I had a very similar outlook to you. I thought they were the coolest thing ever. And I remember I was dating a girl at the time who was 6 years older than me. I was about 18 and she was 24. And I would just talk about this book series all of the time. And the fact that I had the balls to do that to quite a hot 26, 24, 20, 25-year-old is, you know, I look back at it now thinking, why the hell did she just stick around? There's some guy talking about Warhammer to her all the time. Women will do a lot if they like you, man. This is why I say to people, they don't care about what you're into. Trust me, they don't care if you like Warhammer or not. Warhammer is not a deal breaker. Being a dick is, though. So, I completely get your feeling. I completely get it. I'm going to be doing a video on this with Outer Circle on Tuesday. It's very, 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 very similar to this. So I'm going to save my answer fully till then, Hunter. But rest assured, an entire video is coming next week where you will be regaled with me talking about Warhammer in a very funny way. So there you go. But I will answer it next week. QA question. Court says, QA question, North. Hope all is well with you. Which Primarch or chapter best represents each of the current top 10 Premier League teams? Those being Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, Fulham and Chelsea. Sorry, Everton. Well, you know what? Chelsea are no longer in the top 10, so I'm going to supplant Chelsea with Everton. Go fuck yourselves. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. So, Arsenal would be... Oh, this is difficult. This is difficult. Well, Man United would be the lion. Man United would definitely be the lion. Because they're one of the oldest clubs and one of the most successful clubs. So, in fact, no, do you know what? I'm going to give that to Liverpool. I don't want to. In fact, no, scrub Liverpool. It's still Man United, yeah. So they are the oldest and probably the most successful, but they are very jaded and fallen in you know, or everyone else has sort of overtaken them recently. That's basically the Dark Angels. So we go with Dark Angels for them. Who would the White Scars? Newcastle, White Scars, definitely. Newcastle, White Scars. You know why? Mental. Always wearing always taking the shirts off. Wanting, you know, doing mad shit. There's just a load of mental people up there. Iron Warriors. I'm gonna have to say Everton for Iron Warriors because just the most bitter, salty, angry people. But also, when you look at the Iron Warriors, you think they've kind of got a point. They are bitter, they are salty, they are angry, they are you know, they are annoying sometimes. But you know what? They've got a point. And yeah, that's definitely Everton. Definitely Everton. We're Iron Warriors through and through. I'll only do a few more because I don't know what the hell Brighton are or Brentford. Liverpool would be Alpha Legion. Because you're never more than 6 feet away from one of the bastards. They're always around somewhere. So, you know, they're insidious. They are kind of arrogant. And, no, actually, no, maybe not the Alpha Legion. Maybe not the Alpha Legion. Who would they be? No, you know what, Alpha Legion. Yeah, stick to Alpha Legion. Because you're never more than 6 feet away from one of them. Man City, I wouldn't know. Probably not Ultramarines, but probably I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave that there, man. I've done 4 or 5, so there you go. I'll be here all day otherwise. But that's an amazing question, though. Moving on. Tyler says, "Hey Exile, with 10th now on the horizon. What 3 kits from Space Marines and Tyranids that weren't shown in the edition cinematic would you like to see upgraded with a new kit after 10th's launch?" Ooh. Assault Marines, you know, actual Assault Marines. I would like Assault Marines getting an uplift for Firstborn. I would like Assault Marines becoming a thing for Primarchs as well. At the moment, I have to make my own Assault Marines, and it's really annoying. So yes, Assault Marines definitely. I would like a jump pack version of the Reavers. I think that could really bring the Reavers back in terms of being cool. So yeah, I would like a jump pack version of the Reavers, please. That would be my one of my big things. So I don't have to make them myself anymore. Hooray! Who else? 3 kits. Well, there's one. Predators and rhinos should be bigger. I want bigger predators. I want bigger rhinos. Anything based on the rhino STC, I want it a little bit bigger. I want the Land Raider to be a little bit bigger as well. I want it to look imposing on a tabletop. You know, the big ass tank on the tabletop. Want that. Please let Primarchs Marines go inside of a Land Raider. Stop being dicks, you know. So if you sell a Land Raider as a new thing, Primarchs Marines should be able to go inside of it. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. Stop being dickheads. And the last one would be the Heroes of the Chapter. So do you know the original chapter command? I would want that, but redone with a brand new kit, brand new bits and bobs. So you can make your own Master of Ordnance, you can make your own Lord Executioner, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, that's what I would do. Jakero says, okay, that's not one of the things, you know. Canyon says, please back me up and acknowledge that a 40k game that plays like PlanetSide 2 or the original Battlefront 2 should be made. Please, Games Workshop, I beg of you. Yeah, do you know what? That is one of the many different gaming genres that I think Games Workshop have sadly neglected over the years. Is definitely a PlanetSide 2 or a Battlefront 2 would be an amazing 40k thing. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of people who would buy the shit out of that. I know I would, if it was me. If it was an arena shooter or a big PlanetSide level shooter that's based in 40k, man, how cool would that be, right? You could even do a power up where you're all playing as guardsmen and traitor guardsmen against guardsmen. And eventually you can get your own skins of different guard units, things like that, Ogrins and stuff. And eventually you can earn a power-up where you come in a drop pod and you're a Marine who's just, you know, from one of the chapters and you're there just kicking ass. Or being from one of the traitor legions, you know, that kind of a thing. That'd be really, really cool. Also RPGs in 40k, you know, definitely something that could be seen, could be done, that I've not seen done before. So RPGs would be really, really cool. I know Owlcat have got one coming out, but I don't mean a top-down RPG. I mean like an actual, you know, AAA RPG based in 40k. My God, my dream game is basically a video game version of the book Inquisitor. Eisenhorn, where you're not playing as Eisenhorn, but you are definitely, you know, one of these guys who is having an entire career in the Inquisition, and you follow him from start to finish of his career over a course of 2 or 3 games. Very Mass Effect-esque, you know what I mean? But set in 40k, that'd be lovely, thank you very much. And give me an Eldar romance, please, yeah, that'd be nice. Colin says, hey North, in the Black Legion books by Aaron Dembski-Bowden, it's told in the first person by Iskandar Kaon, Abaddon's right-hand man, who surrendered himself to the Inquisition and is in Imperial custody. Now, to me, I think the Dark Angel's entire legion would do everything they could to kill or capture Iskandar. Because he is being interrogated by the Inquisition and has knowledge about the Fallen. I think this would be the greatest threat the Unforgiven have ever faced, because he could expose the Dark Angel's sins and their secret shame. Yet this aspect doesn't get a mention at all in the lore, which I find is a massive plot hole. How would you fix this in a Northverse? Me, I'd have Cypher sneak in and kill him, or have the entire Legion assault the fortress where he is kept. Then have the Lions show up and sort the mess out. What do you think? I think the Cypher idea is good. The Cypher idea is good. I would want to give another Dark Angel time in the sun, though. So I'd probably create another Dark Angel character who's very good at being sneaky and getting at Fallen when they're very, very, very hard to reach. I would have him sent in to kill Iskandar Kaon, and he takes... he kills Iskandar Kaon, but I wouldn't have him dead. I would have Iskandar disappear, essentially, from his bondage. He would disappear, and, you know, so the assassin gets to him, and then he disappears. So you could say he's alive, you could say he's dead. Up to you. That's what I would do. But yeah, you did a very good idea there. And why would I, you know, why would I change a really good idea? That's a very good idea. So well done. Okie dokie. Please go anonymous for the following questions. Okay. As a Games Workshop enjoyer of the past 26 years, I've become a bit hesitant when I hear about the coming changes to the codex and rule systems. Changes that supposedly are all for the benefit of the customer, quote unquote. It feels more like a boa constrictor patiently waiting for the next exhale to tighten the vice grip on our wallet balls. Question 1. How much can we reasonably expect Games Workshop to have the customer's needs in mind if those needs are opposed to their bottom line? And question 2. How often can a company, or person for that matter, be given the benefit of the doubt before positivity turns to naivety? When it comes to Games Workshop releases, I'm solidly in the camp of, yeah, we'll see. Okay. How can we reasonably expect Games Workshop to have the customer's needs in mind if those needs are opposed to their bottom line? In terms of Games Workshop, not at all. Alright? At Games Workshop, if your needs are in direct conflict with their bottom line, they're choosing their bottom line. I'll tell you why I think they do, why that's the case. Because we are currently going through the greatest period of austerity in the UK. Not ever, but very close to it. When people have less money to spend, and they're getting paid less, and the cost of living is going up and up and up and up, right? And Games Workshop, instead of acquiescing to that shifting paradigm in their customer base, instead put up the prices, not down. So yeah, they don't give a shit about your needs and what's going on in your life. They only give a shit about the bottom line. So in terms of how much can we expect them to, I would say not at all by their previous behaviour. But how much can we expect them to from a moral standpoint? A lot, which is why I'm pissed off about it most of the time. Yeah, we can expect Games Workshop to hold themselves to a higher standard of behaviour and a duty of care to their customers. It just is what it is, that's how I feel, right? So, that's question 1. Question 2, how often can a company, or person for that matter, be given the benefit of the doubt before positivity turns to naivety? Okay. Well, that's a very wide-sweeping question, because companies and people aren't really the same thing. Okay? So, a company is the easier part of the question. So a company is very personal to you. It depends on how much you have to spend and how much somebody's behaviour really dictates how much you want to spend and when. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people who have looked at Games Workshop's behaviour over the past year or two and have said, yeah, enough's enough. I'm making a judgment call now. I'm leaving. I'll still play 40k, but I'll play it with the free rules and I'll get my own models from elsewhere. Again, not a problem. You've made that decision. It's completely up to you. You know what I mean? So, it is a very, 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 very personal thing, as far as I'm concerned. It's up to you. Where you decide the line needs to be drawn to just defending them. What I will say for Games Workshop, though, the people who defend them as being a company and they need to make money. I saw this once with Sword and Steel. I love her YouTube channel. I think it's great. But there was a time back in the day when Games Workshop were getting a lot of flack. And she released this bizarre video defending Games Workshop and getting actually quite upset on their behalf. Where I just thought, that's the most naive video or, you know, Stockholm Syndrome video I've ever seen in my life. I know she runs her own store which is probably why she needs to stay in Games Workshop's good books, because she's got an online presence. But yeah, it did come across as very much either Stockholm Syndrome or naive, to say the very least, because Games Workshop didn't have a defence at that time, because they didn't deserve one. Again, I think it was over another price increase. This was last year, but I could be wrong. So yeah, companies do not need you to back them up. Companies do not need you to ride to their defence and say, hey, leave them alone. They need to make a profit, don't you know? Poor Games Workshop. Yeah, they don't need that. They don't need you to do that at all. They don't need you, and some of them don't even want you. Don't even want you to do that. Some of them actually want you to just stay behind. If you support us, pay for the models. That's it. If you support us, pay for the models. Don't do anything else. Okay? But don't defend companies. Do not defend companies. Unless they're under a serious amount of scrutiny for no reason, there's no reason to defend them. There's no reason to go out of your way. They are multinational conglomerates, most of them. They don't need or want your support on social media or talking down to other fans. And this is the thing. This is the thing that gets most people riled up. Quite a lot of the time, I know, for instance, I used to work for them, right? I used to have to deal with this quite a lot. I know that sometimes Games Workshop can get some, shall we say, bad press that they don't necessarily deserve. Necessarily. Okay? But, and it's a big but, most of the time, the people making these ridiculous decisions aren't the ones who are paying for it. Most of the time, it's dickheads like me who are just trying to sell you a few models at their Games Workshop store who are being shouted at by the general populace. So, there can come a time when a company like Games Workshop will generally want to tell you to go fuck yourself. It happened to me on more than one occasion. Literally online. Where my store... I remember the Titan guy, if any of you know who are on here or listening to this video, remember the Titan guy story? Yeah. Well, that guy went online and I got dragged over the coals for that, and people really hated me in my store for daring to not let this guy use a model that he'd bought at Games Workshop, quote unquote, at my store, when it was a Titan that he'd fucking built at home. Whatever, dude. It's just. So yeah, there are some times where you don't need to defend Games Workshop, but you need to defend certain people within Games Workshop. I think that's where we're going to the people part of your question, right? There are certain people in Games Workshop who don't deserve your criticism, who don't deserve your vitriol. The best way you can change or try to change a Games Workshop is by sending them letters, making phone calls to head office, and emails, and generally saying, look, I don't like this behaviour. It puts a really bad taste in my mouth. I want to support you, but you're not making it very easy. Here are the things you can do to make it very easy for me to support you. No problem, right? That's the best way to do it. Don't go into Games Workshops shouting at people who work in Games Workshop. They don't deserve it. They're on the front lines. They're not making all of these policy changes that are affecting your wallet in a negative way. They are there to sell you models. If you don't like it, don't buy the models. Or write a complaint to the right people at Games Workshop HQ. Skip all of the levels and go straight to the horse's mouth. Go straight to the people who deserve it. But stay away from people in general. Peter, I'm going to stay away from the other part of that question, which is more of a personal, how long can I go before I give somebody the benefit of the doubt? That is an insanely personal question. How far you let a friend go with toxic behaviour before you cut them off at the knees and say, no more, is completely up to you. It goes by person to person. For me, it depends on the behaviour, okay? If it's racist or overly sexist or really, really offensive behaviour, I would say 2 comments with a warning. They get 2 comments with a warning. Once they've done the second one, I'm like, okay, dude, I'm done here. I'm out. See ya. I'm out. And when I say racist stuff, I don't mean like, jokes that cut too close to the quick. I mean like if someone of a different race is sitting next to us and they start bad-mouthing them, or they're literally angrily decrying another person because of the colour of their skin or whatever, right? Yeah, that's bad. Slightly blue jokes, I don't care. You know, I've dated people who tell blue jokes about other races. Doesn't bother me at all. I just laugh because I know those people will be getting it from their own friends who are from other races as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much. I won't make those jokes, but you know, it depends if I know you. If I know you're not a racist or like some sort of mental fucktard, and you make a really, really, really blue joke. By blue, I mean like somebody who doesn't know you would say that's racist. Yeah, I don't care. That I will laugh at your joke. You know what I mean? Like I know you're not. You know, you're not what that joke purports you to be. So it doesn't really bother me at all. And why should it? You know, like I'm not the offended party here. But if it goes on a bit too much, if it goes further and further and further, yeah, that's when you need to start having a little word. Or if it comes across as this isn't a joke, it's more of a statement. Do you know what I mean? Then I'm like, okay, yeah, I would like to have a little word here, and that's not cool, man. Like, you know, it's okay. Yeah, if you want to tell a joke about it, fine. I look at racism and sexism and things like that. Even when it's against me, even when somebody, I've had it before in the US when somebody got a job in front of me because I was white. I was a white dude, and I didn't get a job because of it. I have it on, you know, on good authority, verbally. You know, they didn't put it in writing, but they basically told me, look, you know, we have a quota to fill. We have a quota to fill at the school. We can't hire you. It is what it is, right? I had to walk away and take my medicine. Is that racist? Yeah. It's racist as fuck. Yeah. Yes, it's racist as fuck. But because you're being judged by the colour of your skin, and that's not fun, right? But at the same time, you know, I look at racism as a like, how to put it, kind of like not like depression. Well, if you laugh at it, and you laugh at it, it loses most of its power. Do you know what I mean? Like at least it decharges the room. It loses most of its power. If somebody and what I mean by that is if somebody uses it or jokes about it in a funny way, cool. Like I have a laugh about it. Cool, no problem. It's when the joking stops. That's when you've got to know when to switch it in your mind. Going, ooh, that wasn't a joke. That was serious. Like, that guy actually thinks that, and that's when you got to say, hey man, that's not cool. Like I don't think that. I'll joke about it all day long, but I don't think that, right? Like, my jokes aren't who I am. And if your jokes are who you are, then we need to talk, because that's not cool, right? So yeah, I would say like two big things in terms of a person being toxic. Two big behavioural red flags. Two of those, and I'm generally having a word with the person. And if they do it a third time, as in the third time after I've said, hey man, that's not cool, then I'll walk away. You know, I won't make a scene out of it. I won't tell them you're a piece of shit. No, I'll just walk away. You know, if you're decrying people because of the colour of their skin, or you're telling women that they're worthless because you can't get laid, or if you're, you know, generally being an unpleasant person at the tabletop, cheating, decrying my choices of models and factions or whatever, yeah, you get two chances and I'll give you a warning. Two free hits and I'll give you a warning. The minute you go to the third one, I'm done. I'm done here, right? And again, it depends. If I've known you for 10, 20 years and all of a sudden you're spouting this nonsense, I'll give you more chances. I'll try and get to the bottom of it. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, new people, two chances. Two really toxic things that you do, I'll give you a warning. If you don't heed that warning, I'll leave, because I don't need to be around you. You know? It is what it is. You can call me fragile if you want, but that's just me. Anyway, those are all the questions we have for today. I think that's it. That is it, yeah. Oh, wait, no, I think I've got one more. Here we go. I finally have a really good question for a Q&A. With what I've heard about 10th edition, it seems like 40k is moving closer to Age of Sigmar rules. Still not exactly the same, but closer. If a 4th edition of Age of Sigmar rules was to come out that brings Age of Sigmar to the same or incredibly close to what we think 10th edition is, would that be so bad? The pros for casual games would be huge. You'd effectively be doubling the army selections. Couldn't use it in tournaments, but the fun to be had would be enormous. Okay. I don't think that would be a good idea. I'm going to disagree with you there. I don't think that would be a good idea. Mainly because I think every game needs to have its own identity. And if it happens to Age of Sigmar, what's to stop it happening for Lord of the Rings, right? And Lord of the Rings has been celebrated quite a lot as being this wonderful answer to modern Warhammer and 40k, right? It's an answer to what is already going on in the sphere of the hobby at the moment. If you don't like what's going on, Lord of the Rings is there. You can go and play it. It's its own thing. It's pretty cool. It's got really cool models. It's got really cool rules that don't look like 40k at all. You know, you can have a lot of fun, and that's incredibly important, at least to me. That all games are their own thing, and they have their own, shall we say, niche moving forwards, right? Every game needs to look and feel a little bit different, and that's the reason why Sigmarines for Sigmar was so controversial. We don't want Space Marines in fantasy. They suck. Well, they don't suck, but they're great in 40k. But enough of the Space Marines, please. Give me elves, give me dwarves, give me orcs, give me ogres, give me wood elves, give me empire, give me normal people, Renaissance level people, please. You know, but don't give me Space Marines in my fantasy setting if you're slapping Warhammer on the front of it. It's not what it's for, right? That's just how I feel. I feel every game should be unique in its own personable way, because not only does it mean that, you know, things aren't getting stale, but also it means, hey, we all have choices. If we don't like this game, we can always go and play that game. No problem, right? So yeah, kind of disagree with you there, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying for the sheer convenience. But anyway, love you all a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares, and then we are doing our Outer Circle Lore extravaganza on Tuesday. Then we will be doing more Hobby Nightmares. Then on Thursday we will be doing another 10th edition video exploring what the hell is going to be going on with the lore going forwards. And then on Friday we'll be doing another Hobby Nightmares. Love you all. Speak to you later. Have a good one. Bye.